My favorite part in the scene that I just wanted to talk about earlier was when Evelyn busts Rakakuni, like when she like walks into the back and sees him, like the raccoon like takes control of the guy and is gonna like kill her.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Blockbuster, where three dudes talk about movies that we like and sometimes don't like. I am one of your hosts. My name is Ben. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Mitch, one of the quieter hosts.
And hello, my name is Lucas. I will be the host with the most in this universe and in every other universe as well.
That is topical because today we're talking about a movie that was chosen by Lucas, our host with the most this week, and the movie's called Everything Everywhere All at Once. I can't remember if there's commas between all those. Are there?
No, it's just stream of consciousness.
Everything Everywhere All at Once except punctuation.
Today we are talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once, the 2022 Multiverse Mindbender from Daniel Kwan and Daniel Schneider. Scheinert.
Scheinert, yes.
Daniel Scheinert. Collectively, the Daniels. The film stars Michelle Yeoh as Evelyn Wang, a Chinese-American laundromat owner, just trying to get through taxes, family drama, and an IRS audit, until the multiverse explodes in her face. With Jamie Lee Curtis as the tax auditor from hell, Ke Huy Quan as her heartbreakingly sweet husband Waymond, Stephanie Su as her nihilist daughter turned god entity Jobu Tupaki. This is part action, comedy, part existential, philosophical lesson, and part googly-eyed manifesto. It's chaotic, messy, and deeply human. And I love this movie so dearly.
I'm pretty sure it's Stephanie Shu.
Fuck!
And Ke Huy Quan. Although
Ke Huy Quan.
Yeah, I don't think it's Ke Huy. I think it's Ke Huy Quan. I don't know how to... I'm sorry.
Apologies in advance for any pronunciation failures on our part.
Just go on Wikipedia. It's right there.
I know. That's also, honestly, that's the worst part of it. Is like we can look this up. The disrespect.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. Subtitles. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. Mine's not that good.
Okay.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. Googly eyes beat pessimistic nihilism.
Succinct, to the point.
Yeah.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. If you show a butt plug in the first act, you must have someone jump on it in the third act.
Honestly?
We'll get to that. Mine is Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Nothing matters, but also nothing matters.
So true. What did you guys think? I'm curious about your initial thoughts on the film. How was your viewing experience? Also, is this your first time seeing it? Is it not?
Long-time listener, first-time caller. This is the first time I've seen this movie. It's been hyped to hell and back for me. Everybody told me they're going to love it. I was going to love it specifically. I did love it. I thought it was great. It made me cry.
Hell
which
yeah.
is always a good sign. It surprised me that it was made by the guys who made Swiss Army Man, because for the listeners at home, Lucas and I used to live together, and Lucas showed me a movie once. It's one of the few movies we ever watched together. Because I had a weird thing about watching movies with other people. I was a bad person. But we watched Swiss Army Man, and I did not enjoy it. I thought that movie was bad and not good.
I really enjoy it.
Yeah, Lucas loves that movie. That's why he showed it to me. And the guys who made that movie made Everything Everywhere All at Once. So when I figured out that they were the ones who made it, I figured it out after the fact. It surprised me. They do feel similar, but I much prefer this one. It's a lot more fun. I think, ironically, it doesn't do as much as it could have with the premise, which we'll probably get into. The premise is a really good vehicle for the super simple and sweet story at the core of everything, which is about nihilism. That part's fantastic.
This was my second time watching the film, and similar to Ben, the first time I watched it, it was so hyped for me that I did like it, but I felt like it was overhyped. And then I had enough distance this time that I feel like I got to enjoy it a bit more because I already knew what I was getting with it and kind of got to enjoy the ride a little bit more. So yeah, I like this movie. I would recommend it to most people. I wouldn't say it hits like high echelon for me as far as film and cinema goes, but it's still a good movie, very enjoyable.
For me, this was my 10th time watching this film. Each time
You've been keeping track?
I have been keeping track because I don't watch movies on repeat that often. This movie has made me cry 10 out of 10 times, including when I watch it for taking notes for this. I have a deep love for this movie, mainly because there's a lot of like things I can relate to in this as like a queer child of immigrants. There were some storylines that paralleled my life pretty well, and it was cool to see that like being represented on screen and in such a fantastical way. But also like I love the cinema of this film. Just like the things you're gonna miss in this podcast are like the costuming, and there are so many different costume changes, the makeup. A minute will pass and there's like 10 different aspects of immigrant trauma and comedy in body language, and the sets are amazing, and it doesn't take itself too seriously. Yeah, I love this movie so much, and I'm very happy that you guys were able to see it, and we're going to be able to talk about it.
Yeah, there's also a lot of like at least superficial like cinephile shit in here. There's this director named Wong Kar-wai, who's a Chinese director who's made a lot of movies that I have not seen, but have been on my watch list for a really long time, like Chongqing Express and Fallen Angels. Those two are ones that I've heard are fucking just groundbreaking. And there's a technique that he uses called step printing. I don't know how it works. I've read through it several times. My brain just can't wrap around it. But it's that choppy, like slow frame rate looking thing that they employ throughout the movie. That's just like ripped straight from a Wong Kar-wai movie.
Oh, cool.
And I've never seen any of his movies, but I was like, I know that shit. I've heard about this shit. Where is that? And I started Googling and found it. And yeah, I'm sure that it's packed with a whole bunch of other stuff because the premise just lends itself to that.
Yeah, there's definitely, like, we are not going to know all of the references and homages to Chinese and Asian art within cinema. I'm like so happy that is part of this movie, but definitely flew over some of our heads because we are not as cultured as we should be.
Speak for yourself.
Okay. Well, yeah, Ben, you caught that. You clocked that. You get one culture point. This movie I was excited for from the get-go when it was like being advertised. I watched it when it first came out, so I didn't have any of that hyped from other people stuff. I watched it on its Oscars tour, and I was so happy to see it win so many things. But yeah, I did not have any pushers try to push this on me, and I think like that helps because I get it. When someone tries to push a movie on you, you're just like, no, I'm not gonna watch it.
Should we get the fuck into it?
Let's lock in, boys. We meet Evelyn, overworked, overwhelmed, and underwhelmed by life. She and her husband Waymond run a laundromat. Evelyn is juggling a million things: her elderly father, Gong Gong, the laundromat business in a language that is not native to her own, and her husband Waymond is taping googly eyes on everything and low-key trying to serve her divorce papers.
In that order.
In that order.
He's like, honey, if we can just talk about something real quick. She's like, bitch, I ain't got time for you. And he's like holding the divorce papers like, it's not important. We can talk about it later.
Her daughter Joy enters the screen, staring into the void of the laundry machine. Becky, her girlfriend, is so thankful to Joy for introducing her to Gong Gong, which is the intention of this meeting. Joy's trying to prep Becky for her mom, covering her sleeves to hide her tattoos, prompting her to respond correctly and kind of manage expectations. I have been there, y'all. I have been there.
Or covering up someone else's tattoo.
No, that's gone. I mean, my sister and I are tatted up, or my sister's tatted up. I have a tattoo. But just like prepping my boyfriend for meeting my mom and like how to come off and present the best. And, you know, it's not going to be the best meeting, but try to make the best of it. And just the anxiety of it all. Evelyn comes down to meet Joy and ends up making a snide comment about how she didn't know that there were going to be more people and she'll have to cook more food. Not even talking or giving any recognition to Becky, but just turns around to get at making more food.
So fucking rude.
Yeah.
And this is our main character.
Yeah. Evelyn does remind me of my mom a lot, especially the pre.
Really?
Oh yeah, especially pre everything that happens. Very much my mom. My mom now like doesn't have the language barrier as badly, but like when we had guests coming over, this was her. She's like doing a million things, and I'm like, oh. You know, I got bullied and I want to talk about it. And she's like, not now. The quiche needs to be ready. Like, I need to get this and that together.
Is that like a through thread with immigrant parents?
I don't think it's always a through thread, but I think it's like a thing that's very common in terms of like, you know, these people came to another country. They want to kind of give the best life they can to their kids, and a lot of immigrants are super like have a super high work ethic and drive and want to be perfect. I mean, something that my mom and dad would always tell me like growing up is that like you're gonna have to work twice as hard and that you're going to have to you know, go for it, but you're not going to be given as many graces as others. And so like you keep going at it, you keep working, and hard work equals, you know, good outcomes, which we learned is not true.
Yeah. Psych.
American dream in shambles.
Joy has been offering up her translation services to Evelyn and Waymond for their upcoming audit of the laundromat business. But Evelyn does not want translation help from her kid. Some sort of pride issue there. And hasn't even told Gong Gong about the edit.
About the audit?
About the audit. That's another parallel, I think, at least into my experience with immigrant parents. Just like my dad's family was very supportive of him, you know, moving out of the country and doing his own thing, going on his own adventure. But my mom's side of the family was definitely a little more like, you're abandoning the family, you're leaving everyone you love behind, and you're going to this foreign place to do what? Like to not be with your loved ones, to be in a place that doesn't even see you. And so I think there was always this thing when my mom talked to her family back home of like trying to show that it was all worth it, like that when they go and visit, like giving gifts to be like, I'm giving back to the family, I'm still part of the family, like look how well I'm doing. And so like hiding this crack about, oh, there's an audit happening, things aren't perfect, you know, she wants her father to be proud.
Yeah. Yeah, that one of the most interesting things about Evelyn's character in this movie for me is how much of her character is buried and inaccessible to the audience at first. You get this impression of her that, you know, she's impatient, she's rude, she's single-minded and not a good wife and all these sorts of things. And then it's up to the rest of the movie to justify those things and like show you, hey, this is where the roots of these things came from. They didn't just happen in a vacuum. She didn't just spawn these qualities out of the ether. They actually were caused by things, but they don't just give you that exposition initially. They leave the whole runtime of the movie for you to figure it out. It's a brave way to establish a protagonist, but also they kind of are able to get away with it because the movie is fucking insane, and just launches off a goddamn fucking like catapult halfway through, and then it's like, oh, okay, nothing at the beginning mattered.
Yeah, no, very true. As she's trying to, manage the laundromat, manage having Becky be part of this guest, she tries to tell Joy that she is accepting of her girlfriend, although she misgenders her, which, to be fair, it is a true language barrier. In Chinese, there is no gendered term. It's just one, person. It's not he or she.
Fuck yeah.
So I loved seeing that.
Fuck yeah, Mandarin OP.
Mandarin OP indeed. She says that she is supportive that she has a daughter who has a girlfriend, but also she's saying this in the laundromat. She's saying it in Chinese so others don't hear her. So how accepting is she actually? She asks Wayman for his help and ends up finding googly eyes all over the bags of laundry that are happier inside their room and inside their private residence. As he states.
Bro, I fucking love Wayman.
I love Wayman. As Joy and Evelyn are arguing, we start to notice something strange on the CCTV. We see what we will eventually learn is Alpha Wayman doing flips and shit. Finally, we get introduced to Gong Gong, who comes down asking for his breakfast in a very demanding way. He is reintroduced to Joy, and he says Joy's Chinese is getting worse. Joy is trying hard as she can to introduce Becky, but can't remember the Mandarin word for girlfriend, to which her mom swoops in and says, "This is Becky, Joy's good friend," in Mandarin. Also been there. Oh yeah, that's how my mom introduced Robbie to her mom and to all my family, which is so fun.
God, fuck, that's annoying.
Yeah. As Joy leaves, upset and distraught, Evelyn does the classic immigrant mom thing of, "Joy, hold on, wait, you're getting fat."
Is that a classic immigrant mom thing?
Again, at least my experience, just I think there's so much fear of trying to fit in, of not being standing out at all and being, a good child, that they point out flaws to help you see them. But it's done in a very brash way. Every time I go over to my mom's, the first thing she says is that I'm getting fat. And then she also comments about how pimply I am.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But it's coming from a place of care, but it, with two different cultures meeting, it doesn't feel caring.
Yeah, it's the opposite with the Italians. They're like, "You look so goddamn skinny.
Eat up, you starving."
Skin and bones.
Yeah, I think there is something earlier though where Joy lets Becky know, she's like, she might call you fat. And she's like, but doesn't that mean she loves you or something? And there's almost a moment when Evelyn does this, though, that she wants to say something more approachable or sincere. And she clocks back into that mom mode. And she's like, "Joy, you're getting fat." She doesn't know how to break that cycle. But you can tell there's something else there.
Yeah, that's topical for the movie, too. It's almost like the positive vibes of the universe were, closing in on her location. That's what I was talking about before, though, with her character having all of these qualities, buried underneath. This is some great filmmaking, because this whole scene that Lucas just described is high octane, super fast paced in the editing and the blocking, the acting. It's rushed. People are saying their lines to it. There's very little downtime, and it feels hectic. And the first pause in the whole movie that you get is when she goes up to Joy in the parking lot and says, "Joy, hold on a second. Pause, beat, you're getting fat." and then it's just silent, and you're just sitting there fuck, man, that hurts my bones. And it makes you feel bad, and it makes you unsympathetic to the main character. At least it did to me. But it's like I understand where like that there is more to this, that they're going to make me understand where this is coming from.
Yeah, and I think like what you said is so important about like how Evelyn's character is kind of buried because it's almost buried for herself too. She's like on autopilot. She's trying to look good. She's trying to make sure things run smoothly, but there's no room for Evelyn to be Evelyn. And at some point, she maybe even lost the thread of who Evelyn is.
Yeah, lost the plot.
Yeah, not like us. We're still on it, y'all. Plot boys. Okay.
Yeah, where were we?
So now they go to the IRS audit. Evelyn, Waymond, and Gong Gong. Then boom, the multiverse enters the chat. While riding the elevator in the IRS office, Waymond suddenly shifts personalities, turns into Alpha Waymond, and connects Evelyn to the multiverse via, I love this, via these like low budget early 2000s like Bluetooth headphones that all the like business people would wear. I'm not sure from the editing. It seems like this movie had a good budget. I'm curious if any of you knew if it did or not, but it also, that whole like Bluetooth headset as a means to verse jump and whatnot gave me the vibe of just like low budget films that are just trying to make do with what they got. And I don't know. I love that.
I don't know, but I bet it had a huge budget. I mean, it's fucking A24.
Yeah, it has a fat
Hell yeah,
budget for
fat
sure.
budgets.
Well, we can find out. Hold on. According to Wikipedia, the budget, oh yeah, 14 to 25 million.
Jesus, yeah.
Which is low in Marvel money, but you know, still a lot of money for an independent film, well, relatively independent film.
Alpha Waymond writes down notes on a piece of paper.
His divorce papers, by the way.
And hands it back to Evelyn. Says, "This is incredibly important. Go into the janitor's closet when you get out of here." To which Evelyn is like, "What are you doing? Why are you acting stupid?" And then Waymond switches back to Evelyn's confusion.
Yeah, it's a great way to enter the movie. It's like, oh, something's going on. They don't bury the lead.
Yeah, like he activates like a sleeper agent, like when he becomes Alpha Waymond.
And then he's like, don't even try to talk to me about it. I'm not going to remember this conversation. Boop. And then he's just back to being so fucking lovable.
So they end up going forward with the audit. Joy kind of glances over at the janitor's closet, but continues on towards the audit with the love and joy Jamie Lee Curtis. I am in love with her role in this movie.
Yeah, she slays hard, as the kids would say. Oh my God, she fucking knocks it out of the park.
And her character gives range, like so much range.
Well, her character is like the best resource they had in this movie, because the whole movie's premise is we're going to launch you back and forth between every universe we could possibly think of. And her character is like this old, saggy, bitter. Is that bad? How would you describe her?
I'd say that she's like old. She's stuck in her like ways. She, has been an IRS agent for a while, and she's just like, she sees it as a job and doesn't see the like human impact of what her audits do, because to her it's just another day in the office. In the audit meeting, Evelyn is kind of having a hard time staying focused. Waymond just kind of flips some shit on her, and she's like, what's going on? So just for shits and gigs, she reads the instructions that Alpha Waymond gave her and starts following them, switching shoes to the other foot.
Yeah, the first instruction is switch your shoes between your feet. That's the first one. And that's really subtle. You can get away with that while you're sitting at a desk getting audited by the IRS. So she does that. I just figured that would be some useful context.
No, that is. I just don't remember what the other steps were, so if you have them on deck.
She has to imagine herself in the janitor's closet, and then close her eyes, imagine herself into the janitor's closet, hold on to that feeling tight and then press the green button on the Bluetooth earpieces.
Mitch would make a great sleeper.
Oh,
agent.
hell yeah. Mitch would. Yeah.
Me? I mean, I'm basically am a sleeper
Just
agent.
waiting to be woken
You're a
up.
sleepy agent.
Yeah, dude, snap me out. Like, send me on my mission, bro. I've been waiting for my programming to kick in.
When Evelyn follows all the instructions, she burst jumps, which we will learn later. To a degree, she is currently in both universes. The one that she's currently having the audit in, and the other one inside the janitor's closet with Alpha Waymond. Alpha Waymond explains she's the only version of herself in the multiverse who can save all of existence. All of this is delivered by a Bluetooth headset while juggling 2 universes and a fatal audit. Evelyn is not equipped.
She's trying her best.
I would like to give some details of the audit scene, if that's okay. Deirdre, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, makes it clear that the way they've been doing itemized deductions on their taxes is fraudulent, if not negligent. And she introduces this to us by displaying one of her 3 Auditors of the Month awards, which are like a plaque attached to what appears to be a large black
Yup.
butt plug. And she says, you don't get one of these without seeing a lot of bullshit, sniffing out a lot of bullshit. Basically telling them they're cooked. She will be merciless. And meanwhile, Evelyn is like zip-zopping around the multiverse back and forth, just trying to like see underneath her for what's the fuck is going on.
Those trophies look exactly like
they are.
butt plugs.
They are. There's no like it's comedic as fuck.
Like if your kid was in Little League and they won the season and their trophy looked like that, it doesn't matter if you're like the most innocent Mormon family on the planet. You're gonna be like, that's a butt plug.
And this is what I was alluding to in my subtitle, if you have not seen the film.
Should we explain to the audience what a butt plug is?
No.
It's very self-explanatory.
It is pretty self-explanatory, but the first time I saw this movie, I was like, Chekhov's butt plug. I knew as soon as I saw the butt plug, that thing was going in someone's ass. I knew it the moment I saw it.
Mitch is a wise man. Best to pay attention, y'all.
For those not aware, Chekhov's gun is a literary and playwriting trope or rule. The idea that in the first act of the play, if you see a gun, then on the third act of the play, you expect it to be fired.
That's why you never see anybody cough in a movie unless it's relevant to the plot. You know this if you wanted to be a screenwriter for more than 2 days.
I digress.
No, I appreciate that.
So are we off butt plugs now?
For now.
Yeah, we're off butt plugs.
It's tabled
We're
until
into
later.
butt plugs for now.
Waymond is trying to stabilize Evelyn. Relax your body in the other universe. You're still connected. As he is trying to explain that she is the only person that can help save the universe, we start hearing like banging at the janitor door, and he says, "They found us. This burner universe is crumbling. We'll be in contact. Protect yourself. People are coming after."
I fucking love the phrase burner universe.
Love it.
That's so funny.
Evelyn gets out of the burner universe and comes back into her universe to find that Waymond has somehow convinced Deirdre to give them one more week for a last chance on the audit. Unsure how she got here, she's happy that she gets another chance, and they start to leave. But as they leave, Waymond finds the divorce papers.
The note that Alpha Waymond had written on the divorce papers was written on the back. When Waymond picks up the papers and sees them and he shows them to Evelyn in the scene, he shows the back of them. So he's talking about the divorce papers. She's talking about the list of instructions that she was given.
This is just like classic two characters talking in a conversation where they're talking about completely different things, but somehow having a conversation that makes sense to both of them. Classic. Love it.
Very juicy.
There is some important detail I wanted to note, though. Before the burner universe like collapses, Wayman tells her Evelyn to be prepared to fight. And Deirdre, like fucking The Shining, breaks through the door and kills Evelyn in the burner universe.
Yes, very important. Thank you.
So her adrenaline's got to be pumping at this point.
Waymond is saying, is this why you were so weird in that audit back there, holding up the divorce papers? And she says, oh, like, this is Alpha Waymond. She's like, okay, we're having the same conversation. As this conversation is happening, Deirdre has to be somewhere and is kind of booking it with all of her, audit shit out towards the elevator, to which Evelyn then clocks her right in the face.
And she gives quite the performance for being assaulted at work. I mean, understandably, but also she's a bit dramatic about it.
Alpha Waymond comes to the rescue, zoots into Waymond's body, and starts protecting her against the horde of security guards that came out of the elevator.
The way he does it is notable, right? Because he like stands up in front of him, does a kung fu stance, and then they're all pointing their guns at him. They're like, get on the fucking ground, put your hands behind your head. So Evelyn does it, but then he goes into his fanny pack and pulls out chapstick, pops the cap, and then just starts eating it.
Which is visceral and nasty. He bites into the chapstick. You see his Bluetooth headset light up green. He hits it, and boom, he is transformed. He now uses his fanny pack as a fucking like nunchuck kung fu weapon. And we enter into an amazing, beautiful, pulling on traditional kung fu fight scene that you have seen many times, but in a very funny and different way.
He beats the ass with his fanny pack.
Beats
like
them.
so hard. Absolutely decimates them with the
Dusts
fanny pack.
Cut into the burner universe that we were just in. Deidre, crazy Deidre, with a black circle drawn on her forehead, is saying that you all are so lucky to be able to witness our universe's savior. She says, like, Thetaverse, number 2397, you are lucky to witness Jobu Tupaki.
Oh.
Amazingly walks in with these beautiful nails. As she is dragging her nails, we see them change into every single color imaginable.
Is this a vital detail?
To me, it is. It's very defining.
It is amazing. It's so fucking cool.
And we learn from silhouette and face, Jobu Tupaki is joy.
Joy Boo Tapaki.
Oh!
Also, this character is introduced with a visual motif where she cocks her head to the side, which is a constant visual shorthand for this person is, evil and horrible and going to do horrible, evil things and doesn't care about the world. Because it's an innocent visual, That's what puppies do, and they look at you and they're being all cute. How could a serial killer ever do that? It is a trope, but also it's functional because you need a shorthand to tell the audience when it's joy and when it's joy. What is it?
Jobu Tupaki.
Jobu Tapaki. You need to know, right? The visual shorthand for every other character is they press the thing on the side of their head and then they look up into the air and now they're in a different universe. But with Jobu Tapaki, she literally is in every universe all the time. So
also the neck cricking to the side is a visual thing for her verse jumping. This happens later, but she ticks her head. You see flash behind her 3 different universes, and she's like, not this one, and then cricks her head back to the other side and lands in the universe she wants to.
Like a knob on your stove or something, changing the setting.
It's so fluid and delicious. I love it. So soon after we see that scene.
Ooh, nice. Did you intend to do that? soon after we seen that scene. Come on, Lucas. Come on.
Anywho.
Come on.
They're being attacked by IRS employees led by Jamie Lee Curtis, Deidre. And Evelyn is forced to verse jump, aka do something random. It's like a jumping pad to jump to nearby universes and download skills from alternate Evelyns. We learn this in a little bit later. Alpha Wayman reveals the Alphaverse.
There's a goddamn lot of exposition to get through.
Yes. So the Alphaverse is the first universe to be able to jump or make contact with any other universe. Evelyn in the Alphaverse is dead, but she was the one who created verse jumping. He gives all that exposition and says, we need to blend in. My Evelyn is dead. Let's go. And then he opens the door and goes, oh my God, help us. Oh, we're so afraid.
This is where we see that list, though, right? Because this is an important thing for me. Wayman talking about verse jumping. He's actually, in his universe, in the Alphaverse, he's on a spaceship or some space truck or some shit, whatever, it doesn't matter. But he's with a crew of people who are trying to work to save the universe from Joy Boo to Paki. They're trying to find a universe that Evelyn can jump to. And so they're scrolling through all the universes, and they're like, okay, well, we got one where she's a painter. We have one where she's an acrobat, and they go through the list. And then they find one where she's a kung fu master. And they say, to get to that universe, you need to do these jumps.
For Waymond, his jumping pad is to get, 5 paper cuts in a row, which is the most horrible scene I've ever seen in cinema. It is worse than every horror movie ever combined.
You're just like, no.
I hate paper cuts so goddamn much.
So much.
And he's so aggressive with it too. Like, he's so dialed in as he's like.
While Evelyn's jumping pad is, she has to say, I love you to Deidre and mean it.
Is it Deidre or is it Deidre?
Deidre.
Deidre. Okay.
To which Evelyn tries to, just throw it out like, I love you, okay.
Oh, I love that so much. Deidre punches through the wall and she goes, I love you.
It does not work.
It's so adorable.
Right at the last minute, as Deidre is about to roundhouse kick her in the face, she channels being able to say I love you, says it in the correct way, and jumps to a place in a time in a universe where she never went to the United States. She broke up with Wayman, decided to stay in China, and ended up becoming a world-famous kung fu film star. Then is able to channel all of these wonderful acrobatics in kung fu, is able to beat back the attackers, and kind of gets to a safe place with Wayman. She's reminiscing about how her life would have been different if she was in this universe, to which Wayman grabs her and says, let it go, let it go, let it go. Staying too long in one of those universes creates cracks and causes bad things, death or worse. He says to think about it like a clay pot. Each crack makes the clay pot weaker.
And things start to leak through.
A cool little thing that they did when she was blasting through her life as this kung fu master was to show Michelle Yeoh's real life as a kung fu star in China, like red carpets and stuff. It's just cool. A nod to just who she is and what she's known for.
We learn that Alpha Women loves cream cheese because in the Alphaverse, cream cheese was one of the casualties lost to this war. Big rip to all dairy.
Well, y'all are anti-dairy.
This is the future vegans want. All the cows dead and there's no milk.
Clarify, my position is on milk, specifically straight up milk. I do not care about chocolate milk. I do not care about dairy products like cheese, cream cheese, yada yada. Yogurt. It is just a straight cold glass of milk is psychotic.
So you're anti-dairy.
No, literally not at all.
That sounds like what you're saying, Lucas.
Okay.
Sounds like you're saying if you just want a cold glass of dairy, you can go fuck yourself.
I mean, that's what I'm saying, yeah. Anywho. We learn from Alpha Wayman that Alpha Evelyn push her daughter into becoming Jobu Tupaki. That she saw the immense power in Joy being able to go through these different universes and not have her clay pot crack as much, or that she could handle the cracks. But eventually it sent Joy into this place to becoming Jobu Tupaki. Now, he is saying this all about Jobu Tupaki, that Evelyn pushed her to do this, but at this point, Evelyn doesn't know that Jobu Tupaki is Joy, her daughter. We, as the audience, know this. Waymond gives up on her, and we start to realize that Waymond didn't actually know this specific Evelyn is going to be the savior of the universe. They were looking for an Evelyn in some universe to be able to put up a fight against Joy. Jobu Tupaki enters the chat. One of my favorite character intros in cinema, with Jobu Tupaki wearing an Elvis costume, walking a pig, smoking a cigarette. When Evelyn says, "Joy, is that you? Why do you look so stupid?"
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Look, it's fun and it's cool, but one of the things you risk with this movie, this premise in specific, is getting into random territory, you know? And this scene, I don't think the movie ever really gets there, but this scene comes close.
Where it's just too much random, that it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. The reasoning behind it's pretty clear. It's supposed to fire hose Evelyn in the face with, the realities of the universe. It's so much bigger than you think. That's a line that gets said at one point. And it's supposed to show her that not only is Joy the most powerful being that exists, but also you exist at her mercy. And so there is a reason behind it, but at a certain point, it's just, when she gets the dildos. It's like, dog, come on.
No, that's the thing though. I think it makes sense because Jobu Tupaki has seen everything, done everything, that she's so overwhelmed with it. It's like when you play a video game over and over and over again, and you're just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do all the cheat codes. I'm gonna do the weirdest, wackiest shit.
Right, but she has a goal in this scene. I mean, I know they tell you she doesn't, but she clearly does. She's trying to start contact with Evelyn, right? And it's like, okay, well, you can do that without being random, you don't have to do this. But I understand why you would do it, because you're trying to blow her mind. You're trying to open her horizons and stuff. I get that. I don't buy the idea that she's doing it because she's bored, because then she wouldn't be reaching out to Evelyn in the first place. This is probably the first time she ever had felt like she had a purpose of any kind. And she says that later on in the movie. She says, I was hoping when I showed you all this that you'd be able to tell me what I was missing. And that if you rewatch the movie I'm assuming, with this scene, with that in mind, it's like, okay, well, she's approaching her with that motivation. It's like, what the fuck is with the dildos?
Can't handle a couple dildos? Couple 10-foot dildos?
For clarity on what the dildos are doing, Waymond and Evelyn are apprehended by the guards while she's been hopping around and stuff. And as they're being escorted out, this is when Joy / Jomu Tupaki comes in and starts deleting the guards in various eccentric ways. One of which is to turn his baton and gun into 2 large dildos and beat the living shit out of the guy. Yeah, I mean, I would just say I think it's most just to be fun. I think
right, and
I understand your criticism of it, Ben, as far as breaking your characterization and whatnot, and that it's a bit goofy.
Well, it established an issue that made me worried for the rest of the movie, and that was validated at some points and not at other points, which is, oh no, they're just going to use this premise as an excuse to set up set pieces. there's just going to be moments where they use this shit to force something to happen that otherwise wouldn't have, and it's going to feel forced. And I think at some points it definitely did that, and at some points it didn't.
For sure. She comes in, she blows up the guards in a montage of smoking a gun, tango, lucha libre, costume changes, and dildo bludgeoning. So Evelyn realizes that Jobu Tupaki is her joy. She blames her. She says, you are the reason why my Joy is this way. You're the reason why Joy didn't finish college. You're the reason why Joy got tattoos. You're the reason why Joy is gay. To which Jobu Tupaki just stops everything and is like, wait, for real? Come on, are you still on this in this universe? Jesus Christ. But this next part is the thing that surprises Alpha Waymond and makes Alpha Waymond believe that this Evelyn is the Evelyn they were looking for. Evelyn takes Waymond's advice and pisses herself to use as a jumping pad. It doesn't land correctly, and she launches before she should, and it ends up shooting her into a super far off universe. So, for context, Waymond earlier has said that you try to go to a universe that is semi-adjacent to your universe so that the cracking of the clay pot isn't so bad. That going so far off course could be very dangerous. She veers off so far into a different universe where at a point so early on in human history, evolution changed that this universe, all people have hot dog fingers.
I heard about this before I'd ever seen this movie. All I heard was, yeah, I like that movie, but the hot dog fingers made me uncomfortable.
As they should.
They're so gross at times.
It's incredible. And not only is this universe a bunch of hot dog finger people, but she is in love running the laundromat with Jamie Lee Curtis. Amazing.
Specifically Deidre.
Yeah.
I think my favorite little cutaway is that it shows the first sausage fingered apes to kill the last ape with normal prehensile hands. It's so funny.
That's a callback to 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, I know. But it's so funny. They're flailing little sausage fingers around. And
So Evelyn thinks that she's just gained some sort of superpower to realize her hands are limp and she has nothing she can do with them. Evelyn asks, what do you want? Why, if you're not here to kill me, then why are you here? To which Joy shows her the everything bagel.
With the classic fucking, which never worked for me. I don't get it.
What?
It's like
to show your friends' hands. And
it's supposed to look like a vagina,
impossible to
right?
describe.
Oh.
Yeah. It's impossible to describe it in podcast form, but you would sandwich your fingers with someone else's fingers and then spread your hands look, it's a vagina.
Yeah, Spock hands to each other into another Spock hands. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So it's an everything bagel. It's adjacent to a black hole, but it's a bagel with everything on it.
It's so fucking stupid.
So stupid. Love it.
She's like, I got bored, so I put everything on a bagel.
Literally everything.
The costumes are all fucking dope.
Yeah. We learn that Evelyn pushed Joy too hard, breaking her brain. Now Jobu exists as both villain and warning. This is what happens when pressure to be perfect turns into total nihilism. Alpha Gong Gong enters the chat and yeets Jobu Tupaki with his super wheelchair and saves Evelyn. So great, so funny. Alpha Gong Gong and Alpha Waymond both get Evelyn to a safe spot and say they have to deal with something going on in the Alphaverse, so they abandon her. As they abandon her, Joy knocks on the door.
Because Joy knocks on the door, they say that they have to go back to the Alphaverse to discuss what to do about Evelyn. Because Gong Gong's like, this isn't our Evelyn. I'm not going to risk all this just for her. And Wayman's like, no, I believe in her. Then Joy knocks on the door, and then they say, look, you have to keep Joy as far away from us as possible. And then they bounce back to the Alphaverse. And then Waymond, after he, stops being Alpha Waymond, just becomes Waymond, hears Joy's voice, and he's like, Joy, come into the room with us. And he goes over to the door, and Evelyn's first reaction isn't to stop him or anything. She lets Waymond let Joy into the room, but Joy's not Jobo Tupaki yet, so it's fine. And instead, she puts Joy in a chair and tapes her up to it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, but it's the first moment where I was really nervous about this movie at this point. Because at that point, I was like, okay, this is clearly a set piece. If this was like quality writing, that she wouldn't have let her husband open the door. But she clearly let Joy into the room for some reason. And then as soon as they taped her to the chair, I was like, oh, okay, they're doing like the thing, where it's like she's going to morph into Jobu Tupaki in the chair or whatever. And it's like, that's a little bit contrived. And I'm right, because later on there is a set piece that was set up with this.
So Ben's right.
That happens often.
But yeah, so she tries to tie up Joy with like the worst tape job I've ever seen, and then does what any sane person tries to do and tries to explain everything, but sounds like a fucking crazy person. And is basically saying your bodies are not your own. You're like puppets being controlled like that. What's that one movie? Rakakuni. Amazing. That is a meme that I employ like all the time.
Which it turns out Rakakuni was real. Like, we do get some Rakakuni love later in the movie.
Alpha Gong Gong is still in the room. He says to save the day, they want Evelyn to kill Joy before she can be turned back into Jobu Tupaki. That Joy is essentially a vessel. The more Joys you kill, the less Jobu Tupaki's range is. But she can't. She comes at her with a box cutter and then cuts her free.
Yeah, that's the set piece I'm talking about. Can't have that happen if she's behind the door that you shouldn't have let her in the first place. So she has to let her in, It was emotional. It's like, oh my God, is she going to kill her daughter? And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. They let her in on purpose. This is totally, inconsequential. Well, that's not the right word. It's contrived. That's what it is. Because she walks up with a box cutter and then cuts the tape off her. And it's like, oh, she's not going to kill her daughter. Oh, yeah, it's fucking, we didn't need to be here.
I see what you're saying, though. I see what you're saying. Alpha Gong Gong sees that Evelyn didn't kill Joy and sees Evelyn as a threat and starts sending all of the Alpha agents to get her and Jobu Tupaki / Joy. As everyone starts gearing up and starts to get into her area, they end up going into a back room, a secret sex play dungeon room to hide.
That's one thing that you'll notice about this movie is the wallpaper, the flavoring, the qualitative qualities of the movie are mostly irrelevant, and that's on purpose. That's on track with the theme of the movie. It is a sex dungeon. It is a dom sex dungeon where you go to get tied up, ball in your mouth, spanked on the ass, that kind of shit. We see that in a different universe, but Evelyn comes back and hits the secret button on the bottom of the desk in the universe they're in, and then they're able to go into that room and hide. In function, it's just the room that they can get to and hide in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But it's this movie, so it has to be a fucking sex dungeon.
Well, it's just ridiculous and crazy. Let it be.
Yeah, no, I'm not. That's not a criticism. I think it's hilarious.
So Evelyn starts realizing she's got to defend the family and fight off all these Alphaverse people. So she starts trying to jump and does a bunch of bad jumps. She's doing anything and everything to verse jump, slowly cracking her clay pot. Everyone in the room does some crazy shit and then jumps into the ultimate fight.
There's a whole fucking group of jumpers in the room, and they're all doing their jump pads, right? And you pan through it, there's people singing and shit. There's one dude in the background humping a lamp.
There's a guy making like photocopies of his ass, like just a bunch of like unexpected things. I forget, what does she do to actually unlock
Eats
her
a
potential?
frog?
I don't remember.
Right?
Yeah, she eats like a porcelain frog.
And she ends up finding a universe in which she was a singer, so she has increased lung capacity because they threw in like a sleeper gas into that room.
Yeah. Until like the climax. It's the one few moments of the movie where verse jumping as a concept is used in a really interesting way. Because in every other circumstance until the ending, people verse jump to get kung fu abilities.
Yeah.
That's what they do. You go to a hibachi restaurant so that you can learn how to do kung fu. You go to a universe where you're an actor so that you can learn how to do kung fu because you're in kung fu movies. And I think that's such a underutilized concept because it's really interesting. That's what I was talking about before with the list of like, oh, we got an acrobat, we have a painter, we have all this kind of shit. The fact that your universe is only adjacent to so many universes that you can get powers from, and that you only have so many jump pads that you could do at your immediate disposal, right, is a really cool limiting factor for somebody in that situation. And I just think it's criminally underutilized in this movie, except for this scene. Very briefly and so offhandedly that you could basically forget about it. They throw some sleep gas into a room, and so she goes to a universe where she can breathe more. It's like, man, I want more. I want more of that.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. So in this fight scene is a really amazing fight sequence where Evelyn is also jumping through different universes, doing different jumping pads. We have Evelyn jump into a singer with increased lung capacity. We have Evelyn jump into the Rakakuni parody universe where she gains hibachi skills. And we also jump into a similar universe where she became a kung fu fighter, but specifically for having a super strong pinky that can just fucking yacht some.
So she kicks everyone's ass. And then the light kind of draws out into a different room. And like her and two other guys, they get their Bluetooth speaker or headpieces knocked out, and then they're like kind of like play fighting because they're like rubes who probably have very normal lives and they don't know how to fight. So then they're like scrambling, trying to figure out a connection, doing like something weird, and and the guy sees I don't know if he's getting intel from above or whatever. But he sees the trophy butt plug and they're like facing off and he starts like taking off his pants. And so Evelyn and him have this fight scene where he's trying to get the butt plug in his butt and she's trying to prevent it in whatever way possible. And then another guard comes flying through the air, blurred out genitalia, cannonballing into, he like snaps onto the butt plug, turns around, like cracks his neck, and then becomes a kung fu
with a butt plug
master
hanging
all
out
of a
of his
sudden.
ass.
Yeah, with the butt plug hanging out. And as this fight's about to start, the other guy managed to find like a trophy, like, you know, like a little league like trophy to stick up his butt. And so she's squaring off with these two guys in like dancing crane pose with objects coming out of their ass.
I'm curious about this. The jump pads up until this point have been established to be per person, right? Because it's you transitioning between your universes. A jump pad will only work for you. In that scene where Waymond was paper cutting his hands, if Evelyn was paper cutting her hands, it wouldn't have sent her to the same universe because their jump pads are different. Their paths to each universe are different. The decisions they made in their lives are different. I know it's this movie. I know the excuse is, oh, it's supposed to be fun. There's only so much like grace you can give to something for being kooky and fun before it starts, like you start analyzing it a little more. and being like, what the fuck? So this dude was trying to put a butt plug up his ass, and that was supposed to make him a kung fu master, right? Because everything in this movie makes you a kung fu master. Then this other dude jumps out from the back, dives ass first on a butt plug, and also becomes a kung fu master. Now, the gracious interpretation of that is both of their lives, both of the decisions that these two men have made up until this point have put them in a position where there's a universe out there that by shoving a butt plug in your ass, you could slingshot to. But that seems so...
I get what you're saying. I think it's like, in this thing, it's like, if there's infinite possibilities, isn't it true that there could be a possibility where that's everybody's jumping pad in that moment? Sure. But that's also like, suspending your disbelief a little too much sometimes. It feels like it is going against what the story has set up. So I get that. I think that's fair. To me, it has not taken me out of the movie. I want that butt plug kung fu fighting, baby.
It's not so much that like they're that everybody's jump pad could be the same in any given moment, right? Like, I'm willing to suspend my disbelief to the point where it's like, okay, there are some rules that I'm just not going to understand, and that's okay. Because, I mean, when you're working with the infinite universe, there has to be some limitations. I mean, you could ask, why is Jobu Tupaki Joy? Why isn't everyone Jobu Tupaki? I mean, it's a statistical inevitability that everybody will be her at some point, right? I'm fine with suspending that version of disbelief. The thing is, verse jumping has been established as like a limited capability. And that's such an interesting idea that like you only have a certain amount of options you can go to in a certain situation, and you only have a certain amount of ways to get to there. You can either confess your love to Deidre, or you can fall asleep and take a nap, right? Or the other one that they mentioned in that scene.
Break your arm.
Yeah, if you do one of those three things, you'll get to the universe you need to get to. And it's like, that would establish so many cool moments. You could play with that idea for hours. And they don't. They throw it away so that you can watch a guy dive on a butt plug. Which, okay, cool. Like, that's cool. That's not as interesting. It is hilarious.
I understand where you're coming from like a film consistency and world building perspective. It's just not something that bothered me.
I wouldn't say it bothered me. I'd say it disappointed me. Because like what you said, Mitch, when you said I don't think it breaks in the upper echelon of movies, I agree, and that's why. Because it had this unbelievably cool idea, this potentially like upper echelon idea that you could do so much with, that you could explore with different characters, that could pull. It would write itself. You could pull character out of that shit, and instead they mostly use it for kung fu and butt plugs.
A few gags, yeah, for gags. No, I get it. I think it's a different discussion about like, does the humor and the silliness serve the greater story? Because I think maybe there's a bit of cognitive dissonance of like the story being told, the tone, and then the premise like not always being aligned. Because I think ultimately that, the premise isn't really what this movie's about. It's a vehicle, and you just feel like the vehicle was underutilized.
Well, I think that you'd get a lot more like meat out of the characters from forcing them to pull specific interactions out of their like alternate lives, rather than just finding the one that's going to serve them in the moment the best. If you force them to like decide between two universes that don't really solve the problem that you're fighting with right now, but give you some sort of benefit that you have to workshop in your current universe to like fight with, it happens sort of at the end a little bit, I guess, but not really. I think that would characterize people a lot better. And I wish I could come up with an example of it, but the movie doesn't really do it. And I like I said, it doesn't ruin the movie. It's not a deal breaker. It's just disappointing. And I think definitely it serves the tone of the movie because it is hilarious and it's, it's juxtaposed. It's similar to a lot of different things in our generation in that respect, where it's like funny at one moment, it's a dramedy. It's funny in one moment, very tender in another. I think that all tracks. I just think that it's, I don't know. Like I saw her doing Kung Fu earlier. This Kung Fu scene does not advance the plot as it relates to the characters.
So Jobu Tupaki kills Alpha Waymond. Evelyn is overwhelmed by the possibilities, by regrets, the weight of what if, and the weight of losing Alpha Waymond. Everywhere she goes, what she could have been, and what is lost. The clay pot shatters. Evelyn jumps from world to world trying to get some form of stability. We land in the New Year's party that Evelyn was planning in the quote-unquote normal universe, and Evelyn and Jobu Tupaki have a chat. Evelyn and Joy's conversation drifts into nihilism. What is the point when everything is happening to you everywhere all at once? So Evelyn says, well, why are you doing all this? What is happening? Why, if you're not trying to kill me, why are you doing this? So Jobu brings her back to the bagel. It wasn't to kill Evelyn. It was for someone who could see what she sees and feel what she feels. She just wanted to be seen by Evelyn, by her mom. Through all of this confusion, Evelyn misses her makeup appointment with the IRS. So Jamie Lee Curtis shows up to seize everything. And it looks like Jobu might win. Evelyn starts to take on the nihilism. In all of the different worlds that Evelyn is in, she starts not caring about the people that she's there with. In the world where Waymond is a movie star and they reconnect after years, she's just like, let's make out, let's have fun. And he's like, hey, don't play with my emotions. Like, let's only do this if you're serious about me. And she's like, whatever. She gives up on the IRS fight. She starts giving a depressing speech, signs the divorce papers, and through all this, stabs her husband in the universe where they're all fighting. We get a montage of her in everything. Tons of costume, makeup, looks, lights, sound distortion. There's it's a montage of many different pictures and videos of her animated, her as a statue, photos, videos, her in drag, her with black goo coming out of her eyes, her as a high chihuahua, an alien, a tree, Marilyn Monroe, like everything.
Yeah, she's like becoming the singularity, basically.
And then just a rock.
Well, not just
and
a
Joy
rock, two rocks.
Two rocks. Her and Joy are rocks on the edge of a cliff of a barren world. This is a world where life never got started. It's one of Joy's favorite places because, finally, quiet. She uses this time, though, to own up to her faults and to make good. She apologizes for what she's done to Joy, to her daughter.
All this is in text, by the way, which is very interesting. Because they're rocks and they don't have vocal cords. All their dialogue is written on the screen. It's so cute.
And it's funny. Joy's like, stop it. Stop doing this. This isn't what this is for. This is where you kind of start to see Evelyn start to understand the different branches of nihilism. So if you've ever been a religious child and ended up believing there is no God and then getting super depressed, this is the part where you can feel good. Because it's all a joke. Nothing matters. But that doesn't have to be in a way seen as like, who cares? Jump off a cliff. Who gives a fuck? Nothing matters. So make the most of what you have. Bring Joy into the space that you are in. Joy wants to be convinced there is another way, but Evelyn sees that there is no other way in terms of there is everything. There is nothing. Nothing matters. She sees what Joy sees. they go back into out of being rocks into the bagel universe. And Joy explains the bagel wasn't meant to kill anyone. It was meant to destroy herself, to finally find an end.
By destroying everyone. Kind of leaves that detail out.
By destroying herself.
Right, exactly. She's like, this bagel's going to kill myself by killing everything.
I don't know. It's contained in that area. I feel like she's just jumping in.
Joy.
Not sucking
I mean,
anything
when
in.
she like brings it in, it like literally like melts the faces off of like everyone around it. So I don't know about that.
Well, that's after. Okay.
I'm just saying the bagel's intent
Yeah.
was not benign.
Very true.
Not
It was like
bagel
more
eye.
like a nuclear option. Yeah, it was more the nuclear option bagel, not shotgun in your mouth bagel. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. But Evelyn hears an echo from the quote-unquote normal verse where Jamie Lee Curtis is asking the police to let her go, to give her another week after having a heart-to-heart talk with Waymond? What? Through it all, Waymond in every universe, soft, goofy, googly-eyed Waymond, is trying to tell her something and be kind, especially when we don't know what is going on. She starts to realize that he's not weak, he's not naive. He's choosing empathy in a world that demands control.
He's strong. He's insanely strong. Takes a lot of strength to be that positive. Fuck, I love Waymond.
Get you a Waymond. Get you somebody who's going to try to lift you up and try to be like, shit's tough, but, you know, we're going to get through this.
Oh, I love him so much.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I love him so much.
It's kind of the opposite of coherence. Like, there's a billion universes, and every single one of them, I fucked your wife. It's like, it's the opposite. Whatever the exact opposite of that feeling is Waymond is in every universe telling you to love yourself and love those
your friend's
around
wife,
you.
but not that much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But also love your friend.
yeah.
Evelyn stops fighting with fire. She recognizes that everything is happening everywhere all at once and that things are meaningless.
Hey, that's the name of the movie.
I said the line! But instead of punching people, she decides to give them what she needs.
What they need.
Yes, what they need. Joy is pissed. She brings the everything bagel into the office where the fight is happening.
Real quick, it's not really a fight. It's not a fight. And this is the coolest moment of the verse jumping stuff because
To resolve.
Evelyn. Right. It's, the whole time, Evelyn's been jumping universes to figure out how to do kung fu. But in this scene, she jumps universes to figure out what these people that she's fighting love and what will make them happy. And then she deploys that in the universe that she's in, and it incapacitates them with pleasure. It's a little hedonistic, which is cool because I'm a hedonist. But yeah, I think this is the coolest implementation of the idea of verse hopping in the whole movie.
Yeah, I mean, she helps Deidre work through her heartbreak by loving her in her fat sausage fingers.
Oh god, yeah.
Are we talking about the cheese sauce or mustard
Yeah,
scene?
the cheese sauce.
Can we
oh
not?
my god.
Can we
Mitch, take it away. You wanted to highlight this.
There's a scene earlier where, like, in the sausage finger world, where like there's a movie playing and the actors are like putting their fingers in each other's mouth and like fucking cheese or mustard is coming out. It's fucking rank, dude.
If we encounter alien species, they're gonna reproduce in a very different way, most likely, than humans. So let them get their freak on. If it's throwing sausage fingers in people's mouths and squirting that goo, squirt your goo, girl.
They're not. Okay, yeah, sure.
So it's the official stance
You go,
of this
girl.
podcast that gooing in the mouth it's good.
It's kosher.
Yeah.
Don't yuck their yums.
My favorite part of this sequence, I don't know why I love it so much, but there's a universe where Deidre and Evelyn are sitting in chairs outside of the laundromat, and Deidre's trying to show Evelyn how to use her vape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, God, I feel like I'm fucking 14 again. That shit warms my heart. I love that so much.
And it's cool, yeah. Deidre puts down the walls of her like IRS bad girl attitude and just sees like she's like, hey, I've been through a divorce too. I understand what the day that like the mind state that I was in the day that I signed those divorce papers. Like I see you as a human being. I recognize what you're going through. And she's like, take a hit of this vape. Trust. You're like She does many things to heal people's problems. She acknowledges her husband's quiet strength. She gives chiropractics to a man who's experiencing back pain.
Also, is it the official opinion of this podcast that chiropractic is pseudoscience?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
She sees her father and relinquishes her need for his acceptance. And in another world, she grabs Joy and Becky, brings them to Gong Gong, and proudly says that this is... I was worried that Joy was going to be crazy or whatever, but she ended up just like me. Aimless, a mess. But luckily she has someone that she loves that's kind and forgiving. And Joy tries to run away, but Evelyn says, this is Becky, her girlfriend. And then repeats, emphasizes girlfriend. And it's like very sweet, very affirming thing. Like, who cares if her dad is going to be upset? She is relinquishing that need for acceptance.
Hey, it's the truth.
Yeah.
It's the fucking truth.
That scene
Get
makes me
used
cry
to it, you old
always.
fart.
Yeah.
It's so sweet. God, it's so fucking sweet.
Back at the bagel's edge, Evelyn reaches Jobu.
Tapaki.
Such an anime and name ass name. Sorry,
Yeah. I'm very curious if it means something in Mandarin or a different language. I'm very curious, but I'll look it up later. They
That
end
would
up
have been nice for
fighting.
the podcast.
Would have been. Your boy has a full-time job. If you pay us, though, and pay our Patreon, I can do that research.
guys, if we're about to publish our 12th episode, which opens the door to monetization. We still have to get like 1,000 plays across
really?
the platform, but you know,
Oh,
it's a
my
start.
God.
We also got to clean up our language, y'all.
No, we fucking don't.
No, you can swear and still be monetized on Spotify. It's more YouTube that cucks you on that one.
Suck on my big fat dick.
Anyways. Jobu wants to jump into the bagel and ends up trying to fight Evelyn. Jobu fights with hate while Evelyn fights with love. They go through different
No, she
rounds.
doesn't.
Yeah, she does.
I mean, it's implied she does, but she beats the shit out of Jobu.
No, Jobu like throws punches or like throws bricks, and then Evelyn grabs those bricks and turns them into flowers, or like she like pushes her, redirects the punch, and like finishes with open arms to be like, "Come in, baby girl."
I don't. I remember her hugging her, but I don't. I also remember her hitting her in the fucking face. Maybe I might probably wrong.
It's
about
like
that.
a mix. It's a love and fight. It's a love fight.
Yeah. Evelyn tells her, with all of everything happening everywhere all at once, she's going to cherish these few specks of time that she has. She says, essentially, like, I see you, I'm here with you, and let's keep going and be confused together. Gong Gong even begins a path towards acceptance. He keeps repeating, oh, girlfriend, oh. Universes begin to heal. The Rakakuni universe.
Oh, we didn't even talk about the Rakakuni universe. Oh my god.
Essentially, Evelyn outs the chef who has a raccoon who's helping him to cook.
We didn't even establish that.
Yeah, oh my god. It's
not-
That's the
it
hard
doesn't
thing
matter.
about
There's
it. It's
so
the hard
much
thing
that
about this
happens.
movie. Yeah. Okay. This doesn't. You can cut this, but
I'll cut this, yeah.
My favorite part in the scene that I just wanted to talk about earlier was when Evelyn busts the raccoon, like when she like walks into the back and sees him, like the raccoon like takes control of the guy and is gonna like kill her. And he's like, "Wait, Raccoon, no." Standout moment.
Standout moment, indeed. But yeah, so the universes begin to heal. The universes that Evelyn has been in, the damage that she's done with her nihilistic moments, she starts trying to heal them. She starts trying to give people what they need. At the end, Evelyn pulls Joy out of the bagel, and they hug.
Well, she does, but a really cool detail that I liked is Evelyn is holding on to Joy, trying to pull her from the bagel, and her dad, Gong Gong, is holding on to her, trying to pull her and help. And Waymond is holding on to the dad, and it's like a generational line of her family trying to keep her from succumbing to nihilism. And it's cool because throughout the whole movie, there's established this theme of generational trauma where like Gong Gong treated Evelyn like shit when she was a kid. And that is partly the reason why Evelyn is so hard on Joy. And having that repaired in such a like literal way to the point where they're literally forming the rope that pulls Joy from the brink of total destruction. It's fucking dope. That shit made me cry.
And like at least my therapist always says that throughout all the studies, the biggest factor into like how somebody is going to do mentally is having a good support system. Whether that is like actual blood family or whether that's just like chosen family, the biggest indicator of being able to handle the shit that life throws at you is having people that you can rely on. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. It's so beautiful.
With what you just said, Lucas, I'd like to take a moment and say I love both of you guys so much. You mean a lot to me.
Bitch, don't make me cry. I love you too.
No.
Both of you.
Don't make me cry again today.
His first crying was over that Magic match, though.
No, it was my morning shit.
Twas rough.
It was a battle, bro.
Hydrate, buddy. Hydrate.
Christmas. Wait, no, that's not how that goes.
In the aftermath, we return to the quote-unquote normal world. I want to preface this as somebody who's watched this movie multiple times, that it doesn't matter, but if you're trying to keep track of which world that they're in, this is not the OG world. The OG world got fucked the moment that she punched an IRS agent, and then the IRS...
Yeah, it's over. She fucked that timeline up, yeah.
So this is like a new timeline where as if things went normal in that IRS meeting... So, very interesting. You know, they're not in the same spot, but they're in a spot that works for them. The laundromat is still being audited. Life is still messy. And Evelyn and Joy still argue. But there is now connection. There's understanding, there's love, and there's choice.
Big feels.
Big feels. End
Big
of
feels.
movie.
I think there's also
everywhere, all at
a
once.
compli that... I was going to say, I think there's a bit in their in Joy and Evelyn's final conversation, like an understanding that even after all this, like Evelyn's not going to be a perfect mom. She's going to, still be who she is, which is an immigrant, a person of a different generation. Like she's still gonna have those things where she's gonna say she needs to lose weight or do something fucked up, but she's choosing of all the worlds and all the things she could have been doing to be in the world where she started with her daughter, because that's what matters to her most. And I think that's an important point. The thesis of the film being sort of dished out there.
For sure. There's a scene at the end where they're going to do the audit again, and Becky is the one that drives the family, which is very sweet. And then she's like, "Hey, Becky, you need to grow out your hair."
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's established earlier on a little bit with, I can't remember exactly when it is, but Joy says, "Why can't you just fucking let me go? If you're not going to do this with me, if you're not going to succumb to nihilism with me and let this bagel destroy you, just let me go." And Evelyn says, "Okay, fine." initially. Joy gets in her car, and then Evelyn's like, wait a minute, and goes to the door, opens it up, and says, you are getting fat, and you only come over when you need shit, and you don't call me. And she goes through all this shit, and she's like, but even with all that, there's nowhere I'd rather be than right here with you right now. In all universes. I don't care who you are. I don't care who I am. I just want to be with you. She proves it at the end, like Mitch was talking about.
All right, boys. So that's Everything Everywhere All at Once. What are your guys' thoughts?
It's a good movie. It's a very good movie. I'd even say a great movie. Like Mitch, I would recommend it to most people. Very easy to recommend, unless you're a fucking huge stick in the mud that can't, unless you're a boomer and you're like, butt plug? I hardly knew her.
That's iconic.
Yeah, add that to the soundboard.
Honestly.
But yeah, it's sweet. All the elements individually do an excellent job. The actors are amazing. The costumes are amazing. The fact they managed to tie it all together and make a coherent story out of it is amazing. It speaks to the solid writing. I know I criticized a lot of the writing, but like the core, the central story of it is fantastic. Very sweet. Probably make you cry. Excellent shit.
Yeah, I think on rewatch, I liked it more, and talking through it, I mean, it's easy to see the cracks in the clay pot when you put really a fine tooth comb to things. Yeah, but I think I connected with the heart of the film a little bit better this time too, which I think is the important part. It maybe doesn't have a lot of relatable themes for me personally in my lived experience, but it is dealing with feeling inadequate for one reason or another. Like those things can be relatable and found and having to deal with family trauma and various. I can relate to all that, and it's a sweet film. It's a devilishly funny film too. I think it succeeds as much as being a comedy as hitting you in the heartstrings. So yeah, I wouldn't say it's a triumph for me, but I would say it's a triumph in general.
Thank you, Mitch, because I will say for me, it's a triumph. Yeah, this movie is wild for me. Like I've seen it 10 times, and I would think that, oh, okay, on this watch it's gonna hit less, but like for me, it keeps hitting. It hits hard. I have seen it by myself. I've seen it with my partner. I saw it with my partner and my partner's mom, and she ended up loving it, which was a very kind of like healing experience for me. I have talked about it with my sister. Next step is with your mom. I know. Next step is with my mom. I know, honestly, genuinely. It is funny. It doesn't take itself too seriously, but the heart is huge. Like, Mitch, when you've talked about in the past how for you, cinema, the films that like really speak out to you are the ones that pull the heartstrings, that like work on human emotion or focus on the human experience. Like, to me, this is that film. And like, that's not even talking about the amazing like costume, makeup, writing. Like, I don't know. To me, this movie, it just makes me feel happy to be a human. And like, it hits my philosophical belief of like, I do believe in nihilism in the sense of like, there are so many universes out there. There are so many possibilities. We're just, a fucking dust on a speck on a rock flying throughout the universe. But that doesn't have to be something sad. That can be something beautiful, where in all of the world, we're here right now experiencing life. So make the most of it. Like, spread as much love as you can, like make sure your friends and your loved ones have the best life they can, and just, live life to the fullest. Positive nihilism versus pessimistic nihilism is something very interesting to discover. So, yeah.
Yeah, you can cut this if you want, but that feeling of like, oh man, I'm going to watch this movie someday and it's not going to hit me in the feels the same way that it has past times I watched it, is exactly how I feel about It's Such a Beautiful Day.
Oh, really?
Every single time I watch that movie, I'm like, this is gonna be the time, and then it's like, oh god, it's perfect.
Even though that I don't feel that when I've watched It's a Beautiful Day, I'm glad that you have a piece of media that makes you feel that way, because that's so beautiful. It's so beautiful to feel seen and to see like what human art can be.
Yeah.
Bro, you want to know? Every time I watch The Return of the King is like like the only film guaranteed to make me cry every fucking time, every goddamn time.
Is it the scene where Gandalf is talking to Pippin about how it's not so bad to die?
No, that's so like I feel like each film has a moment, right, where I'm like on the verge of tears. The guaranteed waterworks, there's a few. Actually, The Return of the King is like there's 3 scenes that do it for me. One,
I can't carry it for you.
no, but I could carry you. That one's pretty good too. God damn, the movie's so fucking good. And then is when the hobbits bow to or try to kneel for Aragorn, and he's like, "No, my friends, like you bow to no one," and then like everyone like kneels. Gets me I literally have goosebumps right now talking about it. And then is like Frodo and Sam's goodbye to go to the Grey Havens. Fucking kills me. Yeah, that movie. Every time I watch The Return of the King, only thing will make me cry. Yeah.
For the future.
So, boys, what are your final ratings on this film?
I'm gonna side with IMDb on this one. It's a strong 7 to a light 8.
Yeah, I think I'm about there. I think on a favorable day, I'm like most of the time I'm going to be in the 8 range though. So I'll say a solid 8. That's where it lives for me. It, like I said, it never quite reaches the highs I want out of certain aspects of cinema, but I still really like it. I recommend it. I think it's really, really good, and I think it's, you know, important to have films with diverse backgrounds and different stories and something that's presented so well and so different. Yeah, I think it's great.
For me, this film has a lot of amazing things when you're just looking at it at just like the film perspective. But of course, we all have our biases, and my bias is coming in here. This for me is a 10 out of 10. After watching this movie, I was like, is this possibly my favorite movie ever? I mean, I have not watched any movie 10 times over and still loved it. So it might be my favorite film of all times, which is kind of wild hearing that. But like, goddamn.
I mean, one movie has to be.
One movie has to be. So yeah, this is my 10.
Aww.
Nice. Adorable.
It's a good 10 movie. It's a fucking great movie. It's a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. Not everyone saw it that way, though. So let's get into some unhinged reviews.
Oh, yeah.
What a transition.
That was excellent, Lucas. I'll go first. Content warning, casual homophobia. I say casual homophobia. It's actually overt homophobia.
Call it what it is.
Yeah, and I don't care about pronouncing their name right because they're homophobic. They can eat shit. Aluchuria or whatever, fuck you, 2 stars. Unfortunately, this hyper-homosexual film depicts Chinese American families as cold-hearted and unloving people who are disrespectful of their parents. Traditional Chinese values are sabotaged via a strong lesbian theme that is cleverly used to influence the audience into its acceptance.
Is that it?
That's it.
Boo.
Jesus.
That was written by a white man. That was for sure written by a white man.
Yeah, dog shit take. Dog shit. Might be a bot, though. You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
Russian bot.
Or
Stirring
Chinese,
the pot.
American, who knows?
So this comes from letterbox user Mr. Muffin 999, who gave the film 4.5 stars out of 5. This movie is near perfect. The only thing I didn't like were those stupid hot dog fingers. They are so disgusting and weird. And then they show you feet. I don't care if it's important or good in your opinion. This to me brings it down by half a star. Everything else was great. Action, costumes, the plot, the character arcs, everything apart from the hot dog universe.
Amazing. I love that.
Bro, I fucking love Mr. Muffin. Can we get Mr. Muffin on the pod?
Yeah. I mean, it's a visceral reaction. That's so interesting. My unhinged review comes to you via letterbox from user Moonlight X Witch. They rated Everything Everywhere All at Once a half star. This is a biggie, so, you know.
I'm plugged in. I'm locked in.
This movie is like sensory video for Gen Alpha and ADHD guys with no attention span. Awful. Not a lot of dialogue, wacky action scenes in the multiverse that go slow-mo every half second. Jenny Slate is in this, and they make fun of her big nose crying face emoji. And oh, Jamie Lee Curtis. This is the project she won an Oscar for? What the fuck? Fighting with dildos? Question mark.
Hey, I agree with you there.
Jenny Skate swinging her Pomeranian. Sorry, doesn't impress me.
That's what didn't impress.
Then communicating as rocks in silence was the only scene where I semi-enjoyed. I guess the beginning was slightly okay, and I mean slightly. But it annoyed me that they kept switching for Chinese to English. The whole thing happens in a day, and it's such a simple plot of just them in the office doing their tax write-offs or whatever.
It's so annoying that they're bilingual. Doesn't that piss you off?
In this country,
Unbelievable.
I think you'll find we speak English in this country.
Ridiculous.
Wow, what a dog shit take.
So annoying. You have to fucking read in a movie. I didn't pay good money to read.
I bet she doesn't know how to read. Next week, we're finishing up the epoch of time travel fuckery with Mitch's pick, Arrival. Right? Is it still Arrival?
Yeah,
Yes,
is it
it's still
still there was
Arrival.
many debate on that.
It was doubtful, but I have not come to find a better choice at the moment. So that's what we're rocking with.
Okay. Join us next week as we talk about Arrival. And thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Kisses.
Be kind, rewind.